welcome to BFS Wargaming. So we're here for another video. We're going back into the series on the Necron codex. So we've done the army rules and the relics and the warlord traits and that sort of thing, dynastic codes. And now we're going to head into the data sheets. So we're going to start off with the HQs. There's a lot of named HQs, so we're going to talk about each one and, you know, what they can do and whether they're good or not. So we'll start off with the man himself, Imotekh the Stormlord. So he has the Saltech faction keyword, so you can only take him if you are running Saltech. Now this is another reason, because in the last video I talked about how the Saltech dynastic code isn't very strong, but the warlord trait and the relic are both really strong. So it's another reason, because Imotekh is so strong himself, because he's a Pharaon, he can do My Will Be Done twice. But we'll go into his data sheet, and then we'll talk about why he's so good. So he's pretty basic, like 2-up weapon skill, ballistic skill, toughness, strength 5, wounds 6, attacks 4. Oh, I didn't realise he has 4 attacks actually. Oh, actually, all of these guys have gone up to 4 attacks. I didn't realise that. Have been made them better. They were used to be 3 attacks. So he has a 2+ save and a 4-up invuln. So his weapons, he's got the Staff of the Destroyer. So he's got assault 3, strength 6, -3, 2 damage. It's quite nice. It's a nice little weapon. And in combat, it's strength 6, -3, 2 damage as well. So that is quite good. Then we have his Gauntlet of Fire, which is Assault D6, so it's basically a heavy flamer, Strength 5, -1, 1 damage, and it's now range 12. Like all the other flamers, which is really, really nice, makes that a lot more effective. So let's start talking about his abilities. So like I said, he's got My Will Be Done, which you can do on a core unit, which basically gives them +1 to hit, which is really, really good. And it's now a 9-inch aura instead of a 6-inch aura, which is really nice. And he can do that twice because he's a Pharaon. He also has the Relentless March aura, so within 6 inches, any core units within 6 inches get +1 to move, which is really, really good. He has the Grand Strategist, so he gets 2 additional command points if he's your warlord, and if you're taking him, he's probably going to be your warlord. And then you have the Lord of the Storm, which once per battle in your shooting phase, this model can cause a storm if it does. Select one enemy model within 48 inches and visible to it. So it didn't used to be visible, so it's now visible. You can't select a character model with 9 or less wounds, and you can roll 1d6, and for each enemy unit within 6 inches of that model on a 4+, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. And then on a 4+, the original model that you picked as the target suffers 3 mortal wounds. So it used to be you roll on the original target, and anything over a 2 is how many mortal wounds you do. So if you rolled a 6, you could do 6 mortal wounds, or if you rolled a 2, it would be 2 mortal wounds. So it's sort of been nerfed slightly, and it doesn't go off as reliably because now it's a 4+. But it used to be a 6+, it would do D3 mortal wounds, and now it's on a 4+. So that bit, the sort of the lightning coming off of it has been buffed. So I would say it's as good, maybe even better, to do more mortal wounds, to a sort of mortal wound bomb to people that are castling up. So it's quite nice. So yeah, I think he's really strong. He's like 145 points, well worth it. The only reason, I mean, I'd put him in every list. The only reason you wouldn't is because you have to play Saltech. But yeah, he's a really, really strong character. One of the strongest characters in the codex for sure. So then we have Oricon the Diviner, who is a chronomancer. Okay, so he is T4, strength 4 like the other cryptex, 5 wounds, 4+ save like the other cryptex. You can make him Oricon the Empowered. So it says the stars are in your command phase. If this model is on the battlefield, roll mod is 6. The result is less than the current battle round, so you can't do it obviously in battle round 1. But say if it's in battle round 3 and you roll a 1 or a 2, he turns into Oricon the Empowered. And then he gets 2+ ballistic skill, weapon skill. He's then strength and toughness 7. Still has 5 wounds, but he then has 4 attacks instead of 2. It still has a 4+ save though, but it does make him a lot better. He has the Staff of Tomorrow, which is just a melee, and it's strength 4 or 7 if you're Oricon empowered, and then it's -3 D3 damage, and it ignores invulnerable saves, which is quite nice. So he has living metal, the same as all of the characters. He has Master Chronomancer, so in your command phase you can select one friendly Necron's unit within 9 inches of this model until the start of your next movement phase. You can re-roll charge rolls made for that unit, and models in that unit have a 5+ in vulnerable save. So really, really nice, really good. And then Prescient Strike at the start of the fight phase. If this model is in engagement range of enemy units, it can fight that. It can fight first that phase. So again, really nice. Just it's just a really, really good thing in 9th, because if you're in your turn and you're in combat, sometimes someone else can. Your opponent gets to fight first, but with that you get to fight first. So that is really, really nice. He does have a 4+ invulnerable save as well. He has the Time Splinter Mantle. So yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad. He's not amazing. Like he's quite good, and he's a dynastic agent, so he doesn't get the dynasty traits. Then we have Amrakir the Traveller. He is a noble, a dynastic agent, so he doesn't get the keywords, but you can take him with anyone, any dynasty. So he's 2+2+, strength 6, which is more than usual. Usually most of them are strength 5, so his toughness 5, 6 wounds, 4 attacks, 3+ save. So he has the Tachyon Arrow, and this can only be shot once per battle. Assault 1, 120-inch range, strength 12, -5, d6 damage. It's a nice one-off hit. And then he has a War Scythe in combat, which would be strength 8 with him, because he's got +1, because he's strength 6, -4, 2 damage. So strength 8, -4, 2 damage is nothing to be sniffed at, but he does only get 4 attacks. So he gets My Will Be Done. He also gets Relentless March, the same. He has a 4+ invuln with Phase Shifter. He has Lord of the Furian Legions. So while a friendly Necron's core units within 6 units, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of the models in that unit. That's really, really nice for core units. Say if you were running in with a load of Lich Guard, that could be brutal. It's just a shame there's not more core units. I wish Flayed ones were core, because that could be really, really good. Minding the Machine. At the start of your shooting phase, you can select one enemy unit vehicle model that is invisible, and within 12 inches of this model, roll 3d6. If the selected model is Titanic, roll 2d6. If the result is greater than or equal to the leadership characteristic of the selected model, you can shoot one of the model's ranged weapons as if that unit was from your army, using the model's ballistic skill characteristic instead of the target models. That could be really, really nice. Obviously you've got to equal or get over the leadership, but I don't know, say you were doing that to a repulsor executioner, you get to shoot the big cannon on a 2+. Could be really, really good. Or even like a Redempted Dreadnought with the heavy onslaught, like 12 shots. Could be really, really nice. So yeah, I think Amrakir the Traveller is a nice choice. Then you've got Vargard Oberyn. So he is again Saltech only. Cleaving Counterblow. So he has very similar data sheet to all of the other, to imotekh. In fact, it is exactly the same in terms of stats. He has a War Scythe, so he just has the melee. And then he has Cleaving Counterblow. When this model is destroyed by a melee attack, do not remove the model. After the model attack is finished, its attack, this model can fight as if it were the fight phase. It's then removed from play. Now, interestingly, on this, it doesn't say if he hasn't already fought. So even if he's fought first, you then hit him, you kill him, he can then fight again anyway. Which they've sort of, with, for instance, the Wolfen, they've changed that. So if you've already fought, you can't fight. So he still gets that. So the Lord's Will, in your command phase, you can select one friendly Saltech core unit within 9 inches, and that phase you can re-roll hit rolls of 1. It's nice, so he's a Lord, rather than like an Overlord. And then Vargard's duty: while friendly Nemesis or Sandrick unit within 3 inches of the model, enemy models cannot target that unit with ranged attack, so he's his bodyguard. And then you have Relentless March, so you can add one, and then Ghost Walk Mantle. At the start of your movement phase, you can remove this model from the battlefield. If you do, then in the reinforcement step for that phase, set this model back up on the battlefield anywhere within 3 inches of a friendly Nemesis or Sandrick model. So you can just come over, help out Nemesis, or get up the board, or get back from somewhere. And then Ever-Present Protector. If a detachment includes Nemesis or Sandrick and Vargard Oberyn, then Vargard can be included in the detachment without taking up a battlefield role. So nice. I mean, you'd probably only take Vargard if you were taking Nemesis or Sandrick, really. So let's go. We'll come back to Szeras. We'll go straight into Nemesis Sandrick, because obviously we've just talked about Vargard. So Sandrick is an overlord, and he has exactly the same profile as imotekh again. It's a pretty standard overlord and lord data sheet. Then he has the Staff of Light, so assault 3, strength 5, minus 2, 1 damage, and then it's exactly the same in combat. Then he has My Will Be Done, he has Relentless March, and then he has Counter Tactics. Once per battle, when your opponent declares they will use a stratagem during a battle round before any command points are spent, this model can engage its Counter Tactics. If it does, your opponent cannot use the stratagem this battle round. That could be massive. That could be really, really key. If someone's got like a really good stratagem they're gonna use, for instance, you could even use this. So let's say you're playing Drukhari or Gene Sidicult, and they use the Vect to Vect a stratagem that you're using. They use that, and then you say, no, you can't use that this round. So your stratagem gets to go off. So that could be really, really good, really strong. Then we have he has a 4-up invulnerable save, and then you have Transient Madness. In your command phase, because old Nemesis or Sandrick's a little bit tweaked, he's been in stasis a little bit too long. So Transient Madness, in your command phase, you can select one friendly Saltec core unit within 9 inches of this model, roll 3d6. If this total is less than the leadership characteristic, you can select one of the results and apply it to that unit. Otherwise, roll 1d3 to determine which one of the following results below apply to that unit. So, you can have, if you roll a 1, Avenge the Fallen. Until the start of your next command phase, add 1 to the attacks characteristic to the of models in that unit. Nice. Number 2, Quell the Rebellion. Until the start of your phase, you can improve the ballistic skill by 1. And then number 3, Solar Mills charge unit. At the start of your command phase, you can re-roll a charge made for that unit. All quite good, you know. Only lasts for a phase, for a battle round, sorry. But, you know, quite nice little buffs. Okay, so we're going to go to Illumina Szeras. So Illumina Szeras got a new model, new data sheet. I mean, they've all got sort of new data sheets, but, you know, I saw this model and I loved Szeras. He's like one of my favourite characters in the Necron codex, or the Necron lore. I just think he's so cool. He's a dynastic agent, so you can take him with anyone. And so his data sheet's movement 8, 3 up, ballistic skill, weapon skill, strength 6, toughness 6, wound 7, attacks 4, leadership 10, 3 up save. I think he's 165 points. So it's quite expensive, but he has got quite a good data sheet there. So then you've got the Eldritch Lance, which is 36 inches, assault D3, strength 8, minus 4, D6 damage. Really good gun. It used to be assault 1. I'm glad they've made it so you can get a few more shots, because I used to roll a 1 on it, or a 1 or a 2. I always used to miss with it. And then you've got the Eldritch Lance, which is strength user, so strength 6, minus 4, 2 damage in combat with his 4 attacks. And then he's got the Impaling Legs, which you can do 2 additional attacks. Again, strength 6, minus 2, 1 damage. So he's alright in combat. He's actually one of the best Necron characters in combat. But we're going to get into why I wanted him to be a bit better than he is. So Rites of Reanimation, you can basically bring a model back to life on a core unit. If it's a Necron Warriors unit, you can bring D3 back to life, which is really nice. And you can actually do this twice per turn, but you can only do it so you can't do it to the same unit. So really, really good. If you're taking a lot of warriors and stuff, like warrior spam, it is good. Then you've got Empiric Overcharger, so an enemy psychic unit within 12 inches model, if they roll a double, they suffer perils of the warp. which is nice, but it's only 12-inch range, so you could probably just stay at a 12-inch range if you're an enemy psyker. If it was like 24-inch range, then it would be really good. Atomic energy manipulator in the fight phase. If you destroy one or more enemy models, then you can use the mechanical augmentation abilities if it were your movement phase. So now we'll talk about what the mechanical augmentation ability is. At the end of your movement phase, you can select one friendly Necron's core unit within 6 inches of this model. If you do, roll 1d3 and consult the table below. On a 1, until the end of the battle round, you add a strength to the unit. On a 2, you add 1 toughness characteristic, and this is for the rest of the battle. And then 3, until the end of the battle round, until the end of the battle, improve the ballistic skill. So you can improve the strength, toughness, or ballistic skill. Each unit can only be selected once per battle for this ability. Now, this is obviously very similar to the Chaos Dude Fabius Baal's ability, but Fabius Baal gets to go up or down. With whatever he rolls, he can either go up or down. So he can go to a 2. If he rolled a 3, he can go to a 2. If he rolls a 2, he can go to a 1 or a 3. I mean, I feel like they should have given that to Szeras as well, because it would have made it a lot more reliable. It would have been really... If they'd just done that for him, I'd be taking him a lot, especially if you're taking like units of troops. I think he'd be brilliant. Or even if there was a stratagem for 1 CP where you could change it up and down. I think it would have been really, really good. Unfortunately, it didn't, so it's still a bit too random, which is unfortunate. But I still think I would take him if I was taking like a heavy warrior list, because I do think he'd probably be worth it. Getting the D3 units back, you can do that to 2 different units. You know, the augmentation, so you can start making these warrior units T5 if you're lucky. You know, or giving them ballistic skill 1, and then your overlord might well be done someone else instead. It's definitely, he's good, but in very certain situations. And if they just made him a little bit more reliable with his mechanical augmentation, I think he'd be like a really, really good unit. Just a shame that they didn't do that. But yeah, I'm still going to play him because I do love him, and the model is just awesome. So, Trazyn the Infinite. Again, another dynastic agent. So he is an overlord. He has the empathetic obliterator, which is a melee weapon. So it's strength 7, -1 AP, D3 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, if a character model is destroyed by that attack, each enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer suffers D3 mortal wounds. That's quite nice. He gets 4 attacks. I mean... Again, it's very situational. It's probably not going to happen that often, but it is nice. It's got a 4-up invan. That's one thing, is Szeras has got a 3-up save, but he doesn't have an invan. I'd always take Crypto Thralls if I was taking Szeras, so he couldn't be killed as easy. So he has My Will Be Done, Trazyn. He has the Relentless March, which all of the overlords have. And then he has Ancient Collective. This model is included in your army. Dynastic Heirloom stratagem costs 1 fewer command points the first time you use it, which is really, really nice. So, you know, you're spending 0 CP for your first relic. Then Surrogate Host. When this model is destroyed, instead of using the rule that is triggered when a model is destroyed after removing it, you can play on a 2+, select one friendly Necron's infantry character, so you can have a different character, take them off the battlefield, and then put Trazyn in their place, with 3 wounds remaining. So really, really nice, really cool. I like that. Again, would you take him? Maybe, probably not. Like, it'd be cool just to run every now and again in fun lists, but yeah. Okay, on to the Royal Warden. Now, the Royal Warden he's not a noble, unfortunately. I feel like they probably could have just put him in the elite slot rather than put him in the HQ slot. I think elite slot would have probably been a good place for him. But he is movement 6, 3+, strength and toughness 5, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, 3-up save. So he has the Relic Gauss Blaster, so it's basically a Gauss Blaster, but it's damage 2 instead of damage 1. Oh, and it's rapid fire 2 instead of rapid fire 1, which is nice. And then the reason you take him is for his adaptive strategy. So in your command phase, you select one friendly Dynasty core unit within 9 inches until the end of the turn. This unit is able to shoot and declare a charge even which the turn they fell back. Really good. Again, if you're running like warriors and someone gets in combat with them and you want to pull them back and shoot, if he's there within 9 inches, command phase comes, you allow them to do that. They can fall back, shoot, and recharge if they want to. So that's really, really cool. He's definitely got a place in certain lists. And then he has the Relentless March as well, so he can add 1 to move characteristics. So really nice. Like I say, in certain lists he could be really, really cool. You'd sort of only take him in certain lists though. Then we have the Scorpek Lord, which is he is the best melee character other than the C'tans. So he's got movement 8, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+. I say that actually, probably along with Illumina Caesaris. Illumina Caesaris is a beast in combat now. 2+, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength for toughness 6, 6 wounds, 4 attacks, and then 3+ save. So he has the Imotekh Annihilator, which is assault D3, 8-inch range, strength 6, -1/1 damage. Then he's got the Flensing Claw, which is sort of make 2 attacks, so he gets 8 attacks for that one, which is -1/1 damage. And then he's got the Hyperphase Harvester, which is strength 8, -4, 3 damage, but you have to subtract 1 from the hit roll. So he's really good in combat. I love the Scorpek Lord. I think he's great, and he would be the one I'd be putting like Warlord traits and relics on to try and buff him and make him better. Give you a bit of or a bit of melee, a bit of punch back, you know. So he's a Destroyer Lord, so he gets to reroll 1s to hit, and he gets to reroll 1s to wound, and that reroll wound aura is 6 inches for any Destroyer cult units, which is really nice in the same dynasty. And then he has a 4-up invuln as well. So yeah, really good. You know, I think you'll see a Scorpek Lord in most, like a lot of Necron lists. I think you'll see a Scorpek Lord. Then you've got the Lockhust Lord, which is the Destroyer Lord from 8th. He's movement 8, 3+3+, strength 5, toughness 6, wound 6, attacks 4, 3+ save. So he has a Staff of Light, so strength 5, -2/1 damage, assault 3. And then he has the melee, which is again strength 5, -2/1 damage. I don't know why they didn't make him strength 6 along with the Scorpek Lord, but there you go. He has a Void Blade as well, which you could put a Void Blade on him, which would be strength user -3, 1 damage, or you could put him with a War Scythe, which is +2, so it'd be strength 7, -4, 2 damage. I should imagine you'd probably take him with the War Scythe. And then he has the Phylactery, so each time this model uses its living metal ability, it regains D3 lost wounds instead of 1, which is really nice. And then once per battle in your command phase, the bearer can use its resurrect. Oh, so if you took a resurrection orb with it, a resurrection orb basically you can use, and you can choose a dynasty unit within 6 inches that is not at starting strength, and you can roll reanimation for it. I didn't realize it's not just core. I didn't realize that. So resurrection orbs are better than I thought. I thought they were just for core units, but it's any dynasty unit. That's good. I thought that you had to take the orb of eternity to get it for any unit. So that is good actually. Okay. So yeah, he's got a few options. He has the reroll 1s to hit, and then the aura of reroll 1s to wound as well for any Destroyer cult units, and he has a 4-up invuln. So he's not bad. He's definitely a choice. I can see people taking him as well. He's good. Then you just have the bog standard Lord. Again, he's got similar weapon options. He can take a resurrection orb, and he has the Relentless March, and he has the Lord's Will, where you can reroll 1s to hit. You select a core unit. So yeah, not bad. Then you've got the Catacomb Command Barge. So the Catacomb Command Barge is movement 12, 2+2+, strength 5, toughness 6, 9 wounds, attacks 4, 3+ save. You can have it with a Gauss cannon or a Tesla cannon, Staff of Light. You can choose Void Blade, War Scythe, Hyperphase Sword. You can put a Resurrection Orb on him. So you've got some options of how you want to build him. He has My Will Be Done. He does explode. So anything within 3 inches gets a mortal wound. He has quantum shielding, which is really nice, so you can't be wounded on a 1 to 3, and he has a 5 up invuln, and he has the relentless march. So yeah, command barge is nice. He gets the lookout Serral, which is good because he's only 9 wounds, so you can keep him safe. So yeah, nice. Then you have a bog standard overlord, which I'm not going to go through because, you know, he's very similar to a lot of the other characters that I've just talked about that are overlords, so I don't think we need to. Then we have the cryptex. So we've got 4 cryptex now. Technomancer is very good. The chronomancer is very good. The plasmancer is meh. It's just, I can't really see the value in him. He's alright. Not really. And then the psychomancer is funny. So we'll go into technomancer. So you've got so basically all the cryptex are like 5-inch move, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, strength and toughness 4, wounds 4, 1 attack, 4 up save. So they're weak. They're there to buff. So the technomancer has a Canaptic cloak. So you can either have the Canaptic cloak or the Canaptic control node. So the cloak you can heal D3 wounds for any dynasty model, and the control node gives you +1 attack. +1 to the hit roll for any Canaptic units, which is nice because they're all sort of hitting on 4s. Then you have Rites of Reanimation, so you can bring back a model or D3 Necron warriors, and he has the dynastic advisors, so you can bring, if you have an overlord, you can bring a second cryptech for free. So yeah, he's good. I definitely would be taking probably a technomancer or a chronomancer in most lists, or even both or multiples of. So they're definitely pretty good. He has the Staff of Light. The chronomancer has a few weapon options. I won't go through them, but yeah, some different things. He then has a 4-up invuln, and he has the ability to give a dynasty unit can reroll a charge roll, and they have a 5-up invuln. Really nice. I mean, you can even do that to you can give a monolith a 5-up invuln. So if I was taking a monolith, I'd probably take a chronomancer just to make it more survivable. 2-up save, 5-up invuln. It's probably pretty handy. So yeah, that would definitely be something that I'd be looking at taking. Then we have the Psychomancer. So you have the Abyssal Lance. It's 18-inch range, assault 3, strength 4, -3, 1 damage, and then it's exactly the same in combat. Strength 4, -3, 1 damage. Not great. He's only got 1 attack. So yes, they all have the dynastic advisors thing because they're cryptex. Then he has Harbinger of Despair. In your morale phase, you can select one enemy unit within 12 inches of this model and roll 3d6. If the result is greater than the enemy unit's leadership characteristic, select one of the results opposite it to take effect until the start of your next morale phase. Each unit can only be selected once for this ability once per phase. So you can choose to that unit cannot perform actions. You can choose to lose its objective secured ability, which is quite strong. You can halve the advance and charge rolls, quite strong. You can do it so the unit cannot fire Overwatch, set to defend, and is not eligible to fight in the fight phase until after all other eligible units have done so. Really good. And then you have the Nightmare Shroud. When an enemy unit is within 6 inches, subtract 1 from the leadership characteristic of the models, and subtract 1 from the combat attrition test taken for that unit, which is also quite good. So the Psychomancer has some play, but it's not as... It's more of a debuff to the enemy, whereas the Chronomancer and the Technomancer are buffing. We'll talk about the Plasmancer quickly. He basically does mortal wounds. So at the start of the fight phase, roll 1d6 for any unit within 6 inches. On a 4+, it takes 1 mortal wound. And then Harbinger of Destruction. At the end of your movement phase, if this model did not fall back, roll 3d6 on a 4+, the closest enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Within 24 invisible. Sort of like a smite with 3d6. It's alright. Like, he's okay. I just would prefer to take any of the others over him. So that is the end of the HQ section. So in summary, for me, the really strong cases for taking, for characters to take, I would say Chronomancer, Technomancer, like the 2 Cryptex, really, really good. Maybe the Psychomancer, just because it's funny and it's quite cool. There is some cool stuff you can do with it. I mean, Command Barge is great. Overlord is just the Overlord, like, he's alright. I think the Scorpec Lord and Lockhust Lord, great for combat. I think the Scorpec Lord wins it out for me. The Royal Warden in certain situations. I don't think Trazyn the Infinite, like, he's alright. Nemesis Sandrick, he's alright. Illuminor Cesar is in very specific lists and he should be better. Then you've got like imotekh Storm were great if you're playing Saltech. And again with Vargard and Nemesis if you're playing Saltech, but I'd probably prefer to take imotekh. Oricon the Diviner, he's alright. He's alright. He can sort of buff a bit. He gives you up the 5-up invuln and stuff like that. So yeah, I can see why you'd want to take him. And then Amrakir the Traveller is quite good. Like if you get him in to do the mind in the machine and stuff, but again, I still think like imotekh would be a better choice. For instance, although Amrakir you can take with any dynasty, so yeah, maybe. But yeah, that's what I think. So let me know what you think. Have I missed something that is something can do that you think is really, really strong? I mean, obviously it depends what sort of list you're building, because obviously with like the Technomancer, you'd probably take the control node if you were playing like Canaptic heavy lists. Maybe you'd take a few of them. But yeah, that is my thoughts and feelings on the HQ slots for the Necron Codex. Let me know what you think. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe and stay lucky, and I'll see you in the next one.